Hello and welcome to Froggity Frog Crochet and this stitch guide on how to crochet the cluster linen stitch. All of my stitch guides are available in both left and right-handed versions, so if you need the other one, check the description and find the link there. Now this is an easy but awkward stitch. The pattern is really easy to keep track of, but where you need to place your hook can be a little awkward to get to know. So for this stitch, you'll need a foundation chain in multiples of 2, plus 1 for your turning chain.
So to start your cluster linen stitch, we're going to be making a single crochet in the 4th chain from your hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I'm going to mark the turning chain, not the stitch, but the actual turning chain itself. So we know where that gap is, because we'll need that later. So the one thing I would say about this is make sure your stitches are loose. I'm actually going to make that one again, because I don't think it's quite as loose as I wanted, because we're going to be working into the V of the stitch. So single crochet is really easy to make a very tight stitch. You need to try and keep it loose. So after you've made that first single crochet, make another single crochet in the same stitch and just try and keep it loose. Skip the next chain. In the following chain, make another 2 single crochet. 1 and 2. Skip the next stitch and make 2 single crochet in the next one. And you continue this repeat across the row. Skip a stitch, make 2 single crochet in the next stitch until you have 1 chain left. And in that last chain, we're going to make a single crochet. Okay, so that's row 1 of the cluster linen. And then we're going to turn and we chain 2. As we did before, I'm going to mark the turning chain. So I'm just going to put the hook around that whole chain so we can find the gap later. Okay, so we're going to make a single crochet in the first stitch. And remember, keep your single crochets loose. If you need to go up a hook size, that's a good idea, because we really need to be able to find where the parts of the stitch is. So we're going to skip the next stitch, and in the next single crochet we're going to make a cluster moss. And a cluster moss, cluster linen, this stitch has several names. You can call it cluster linen, cluster moss, cluster granite. It really depends on what you call the moss stitch usually, or the linen stitch. Okay, so into the V. So we're looking for this upside down V here of the second single crochet. You want to work into this, and this is why you need to keep your stitches loose, because it can be difficult to work into if you don't. There we go. So into that stitch, make a single crochet, keep it loose, and into the same stitch, into that V again, make a second single crochet, keep it loose. And that is a cluster linen stitch. So we're just going to skip the next stitch, and into the next one we make another cluster linen. So working through that V, make a single crochet, and then another single crochet into that same stitch, again working into the V. Skip the next stitch, make another cluster linen in the next stitch, working through that V. I'm not going to pretend this is an easy stitch. It can be quite awkward to get into, and it does not look neat what I'm doing right now, but it's actually quite difficult to do this on camera because I can't pull it as close as I'd like. Skip the next stitch and make another cluster linen, and this is your repeat all the way across the row. So it's an easy stitch on paper. The difficult part is just getting your hook through that V. But if you keep your tension nice and loose, you should be okay. Right, so I've got one stitch left and I've got this turning chain. And I'm going to make a single crochet into the turning chain, not the stitch. And that is row 2. So we're going to turn, chain 2. And again for row 3, mark the turning chain, not the stitch. Make a single crochet in the first stitch of the row. And then we continue with our custom moss stitches. Skip the next stitch. In the next stitch, make the cluster moss into that V. It does seem to get a bit easier from row 3 onwards. I think your stitches just get a little bit loose now they're not in the chains. Skip the next stitch, make a cluster moss in the next stitch. Okay, and you're going to repeat this all the way across. Skip the next stitch, then make another cluster moss, cluster linen. So sorry if I keep saying the wrong stitch name, but it's kind of habit. So cluster moss, cluster linen, whichever you want to call it, in each stitch across. And then when we have 2 stitches left, because this is how it's worked out, okay, we skip the next stitch, and in that turning chain we make 2 single crochet. So our stitch count is now what it should be in this row 3. Okay, and you repeat row 3 for the rest of the rows that you need.
And there you have your stitch guide on how to crochet the cluster linen stitch. I hope you enjoy this stitch, and I would love to see what you create with it over in our Facebook group, Froggity Frogs Ribbit and Stitch. Please do come and show us. You can find the link for the group beneath this video. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stitch guides, crochet patterns, and crochet hints and tips as well. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time in the next video. Bye for now.